Okay, so guys, today we're going to start factoring. We have a whole unit on just factoring. Okay, so this we're just going to be factoring with the GCF. Okay, so make sure you're paying attention. I know that it's hard when I'm not here and I have this video, but this is not horrible if you just pay attention, okay? So if you need it paused, please, please, please just ask the sub to pause it. It's no big deal, okay? So factoring with GCF. In our last test, we did something like this. So I want you to write this down. 3x times 2x plus 4. Okay, now in this case, I would say I want you to multiply this. Okay, and you all know what to do here. You would take this 3x and you would distribute. So I would get 6x squared plus 12x. Okay, you all know how to do that. Now, what I want you to know about this is, we call this either simplified form or standard form. Okay, so simplified form or standard form. This is factored form. Okay, so what we're going to do, instead of going from factored form to standard or simplified form, we're going to go the other way today. So we're going to take this and we're going to go backwards. All right, so let's look at an example. All right, so the first one, 5x squared minus 10x. Start with your numbers and say, well, what's common between 5 and 10? What's the biggest number that can go into both of those? That would be a 5. So over here, I'm going to say GCF 5. Start with your numbers, okay? Then go to your x's. Because I have 2 x's here and 1 x here, I'm going to take out the smallest amount of x's. So there's 2 here and 1 here. That means I can only take out 1 x. Okay, this is my GCF. Now, I'm going to divide each piece by the GCF. Okay, we've done this before where you divide by a monomial. So the GCF is going to go on the outside. Okay, so there's my GCF, and then I'm going to put a parentheses. And now let's divide here. 5 divided by 5 is 1, so those are gone. X squared over x to the first, I subtract. 2 minus 1 is 1, so I get an x. Over here, I have negative 10 divided by 5 is negative 2, and my x's cancel. So this is my answer. Now, double check yourself. Let's distribute this. 5x squared minus 10x. Perfect. Okay, so you can check yourself on these. Okay, let's do another one, number 2. 5k to the third minus 3k squared plus 4k. Okay, let's start with our GCF. So look at your numbers. 5, negative 3, and 4. There is nothing that goes into all 3 of those. So I don't have a number. So then look at your k's. I have 3 k's. I have 2 k's, and I have 1 k. Everything has k's. I can only take out the lowest amount, so I'm going to take out 1 k. So I'm going to divide each one by a k. So in my answer, I put k on the outside, and I do a parentheses. So I have 5, 3 minus 1 is 2, minus 3, 2 minus 1 is 1, and then here I have 4, and my k's cancel. So here's my answer. Double check yourself. Distribute this k in. I would get 5k to the third minus 3k squared plus 4k, and that worked. Okay, so you can always check your answer. Number 3, 16x cubed minus 32x squared y plus 8xy squared. Okay, so over here I'm going to do GCF, and let's start with our numbers. I have 16, 32, and 8. Well, I know 4 goes into all those, so then see if there's anything bigger. 8 goes into all 3 of these, so I have an 8. Okay, then let's look at our letters. I have 3 X's here. Just start with one letter at a time. 3 X's, 2 X's, and 1 X. So since they all have X's, I take out the smallest amount. So I take out 1 X. Now, there's 2 Y's here and 1 Y here, but there are no Y's right here, so I can't take out any Y's. So this is my GCF. Okay, so I'm going to put my GCF on the outside. I'm going to divide each piece by the GCF. Divide by 8X, divide by 8X, divide by 8X. If you start with 3 terms, 1, 2, 3, you should have 3 terms in your parentheses here. Okay, so 16 divided by 8 is 2. Subtract my X's. 3 minus 1 is 2. Negative 32 divided by 8 is negative 4. My X's, 2 minus 1 is 1X, and then I still have that Y because it doesn't go away. Plus, 8 divided by 8 is just 1. X's go away, so I'm just left with Y squared. Again, check your answer. Let's distribute this. This will become 16x to the third minus 32x squared y plus 8xy squared. And that matches my original problem, so that's perfect. Okay, number 4. 35x cubed y4 minus 60x 4y. Okay, let's start with our GCF. So we need something that goes into both of these. Well, I would say let's start with 5. 5 goes into this 7 times and goes into this 12 times, so that would be my biggest number, GCF, 5. Look at your X's. You have 3 X's on this left one and 4 X's here. I take out the smallest number, so I can take out 3 X's. And then look at your Y's. I've got 4 here and 1 here. I can only take out the smallest amount, so I can take out 1 Y. Okay, it's going to start to get a little bit crazy here with some of these letters. So I put my GCF on the outside, 5x to the third y. I'm going to divide each piece by the GCF. So remember, if there are 2 terms here, there should be 2 terms here. Okay, so let's divide. 35 divided by 5 is 7. My x's cancel. I have 4y's minus 1y would be 3y's. Minus 60 divided by 5 is 12. 4x's minus 3x's is 1x. And my y's cancel. So let's check that. When I distribute this, 5 times 7 is 35. I have 3 x's and I have 4 y's. And then when I distribute it over here, negative 60, I have 4 x's and 1 y. So that worked. Okay, number 5. This one's a little bit crazy, so make sure you write it out carefully. I'm going to write it out slow. 12x squared y cubed w minus 15x y to the fourth w plus 6x y to the third w. Okay, so I know it looks long, but let's just start with our GCF. Okay, so look at your numbers. You have 12, 15, and 6. So say, well, what's going to go into all 3 of those? I'm going to say a 3. Okay, Then look at your x's. 2x's, 1x, and 1x. So everything has x's. I can take out the smallest amount. I'm going to take out 1x. Look at my y's. 3y's, 4y's, 3y's. I take out the smallest number of y's. Look at my w's. 1w, 1w, 1w. I'm going to take out 1w. Okay, let's divide each one by the GCF. So the GCF goes on the outside. Okay, so let's divide. 12 divided by 3 is 4. Then look at your x's. 2 minus 1 is 1. My y's go away and my w's go away. Okay, next one. Minus 15 divided by 3 is 5. My x's go away. 4 minus 3 is 1. My w's go away. Plus 6 divided by 3 is 2. My x's go away. My y's go away. My w's go away. Okay, now this one's a crazy one, so check this. So this one times this one, I would do 3 times 4 is 12. I have 2 x's, I have 3 y's, and I have a w. Check the next one. 3 times negative 5 minus 15. I have 1x, 4 y's, there's one there, and then a w. And then the last one, 6x, and then y3, w. Okay, so check it up here with your answer. 12x squared, y cubed, w. Good. That matches, and that matches. Okay, so you can always check your answers on these. It's worth you taking the extra time to do that and get it right. All right, number 6. 13abc plus 2a squared d minus 14b to the third, c to the fourth. Okay, let's start with our GCF. So I have 13. Well, first of all, when you see 13, nothing goes in there. 2 and 14. So there's no number. So let's go to my A's. I have 1A, 2 A's, no A's. All right, so I can't take out any A's. I have 1B, no B's, 3 B's. So I can't take out a B. C, 1 C, no C's, 4 C's. And then I do also have a D here. So there isn't a GCF here. So if there's no GCF, all you write is prime. That means it's not factorable. So when you think of prime numbers, some prime numbers would be like 3, 5, 2, 7, 11, 13, 17. Okay, numbers that the only thing that multiplies to get 17 would be 1 times 17. Okay, I want to do a couple more with you. Make sure we cover everything that's on the worksheet because I want you to try that worksheet. So number 7, let's do this one. Negative 3x to the fourth minus 9x to the third y plus 6x squared y squared. Okay, so the reason I want to do this one is because when it leads with a negative, we're going to take out a negative. So let's look at our first GCF first, just our regular one. I've got 3, 9, and 6. So I'm going to take out a 3. Now, because it starts with a negative, I'm going to actually take out a negative 3 from all of them. Okay, then let's look at our x's. I have 4 x's, 3 x's, and 2 x's. I take out the smallest amount, so I'm going to take out x squared. And then I don't have any y's here, Even though I have 1 and 2 here, it doesn't matter. I can't take any out. Okay, so on the outside goes negative 3x, negative 3x squared, and then my parentheses. And I'm going to divide each piece by negative 3x squared. Okay, so here, negative 3 and negative 3 cancel, and that means the negative also. I have 4 minus 2, so I get x squared. Then the next one, negative 9 divided by negative 3 is positive 3. I have 3 x's minus 2 x's, so I get 1x, and then I have my y. Then I have a positive 6 divided by a negative 3 is negative 2. My x's cancel, and I still have y squared. And let's just double check that. When I distribute here, I get negative 3x4 minus 9x3y plus 6x2y2. So that way we check to make sure that everything matches. Okay, the only other one I want to do with you, let's do this one. Let's do one more together. 4x times x plus 3 plus 7 times x plus 3. Okay, when you look at this one, I think your first instinct is going to be to distribute, but we don't want to distribute here, okay? Remember, because we're undoing distributing basically our multiplication. So normally we look at, well, what's common between all of the terms? We're going to do the same thing here, but I want you to see I've got one term here and one term here. So if I said, well, what's common between those two highlighted terms? Hopefully you see this x plus 3 in both of them is common. If I take out x plus 3, so I divide by x plus 3, they cancel out, and what's left over? 4x plus 7. So this leftover part, 4x plus 7, goes in my other set of parentheses. And that is my answer. So those aren't hard. A lot of people try to distribute, and I don't want you to do that. Okay, so you have a worksheet that you're about to be given. So your homework is to complete the worksheet, number 1 through 20. 1 through 20, that's all of them, okay? Because you have a little bit of time right now in class to work on it, so I want you to work on your own. You're not working with neighbors or anything like that. Just complete numbers 1 through 20.